We're just gonna,
No, I
which one you sitting in? Okay.
In there.
I'm just gonna throw my phone out here.
Here, there. I wasn't gonna have it on there like we were talking about.
Yeah.
But I can change it. It's not. I don't know, change.
Yes. You got one of these?
If you like seeing yourself on here like this, or I could also, I guess I could whip around this screen and show people on there so that like it almost looks like you're talking to them because they're right here on the monitor here by the camera.
So you were going to be going
to look up there.
Yeah.
Which camera are we looking at?
You
Both
so
work.
so we've got this one here. This is directly on you.
That one's live?
The red's live.
Okay.
And then this one sees both of us.
Do you have a switch thing?
Yeah.
You're gonna produce it as you
switchers.
go.
Yeah.
And it, I guess it is mirroring your.
It's mirroring your.
In twice.
Should not be. I haven't even logged in yet. Who logged me? Oh, you logged me in.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's like I didn't log in.
Okay. So does your, can you talk to?
Hello, Nick. How are you today?
He'll get reloaded with him.
Get out of here, Randy.
Can you go in your office and talk?
Yeah.
Speakers work.
Speakers work good.
This is the first time with the new
Y'all
stuff.
hear me?
Brandon. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank God.
God, everybody has to have a Nick.
I don't know
What kind of camera is this one? Or is it just
So that's the Black Magic.
okay?
We don't like it. In fact, we've ordered 2 more because they're 2 different cameras. So we're going to take this one and put it out there.
Okay.
So that when we do stuff out there on
It's
the big,
already there.
this one, yeah, because it's a wide screen
Yeah,
and gives it
that's
better.
what I use.
Yeah, but we've got 2 more coming to, so that we have 2 exact
But you
same
don't
cameras.
like the Black Magic?
We don't like the
But
back.
you ordered 2 more.
Not 2 Black Magics,
Oh,
2
these.
other cameras.
Okay,
2 other
gotcha.
cameras. This one, in 2019, we got this one when I was doing
Okay,
all
that's
those
older.
videos. Has limitations,
Mhm.
and so it's high end.
7 years old.
Well, it's like back then it was like a C. Yeah, it was the top of the line then. The guy that was my film guy was a director for the what was that guy's name? Chris, but who was the guy that he worked for that went to jail? Yeah,
Oh, no.
for murder.
Oh my.
Yeah, you know the guy. The lion guy. He had the lion safari and all that here in Texas.
Oh, the guy, the Tiger King?
Tiger King, yeah. One kept saying Lion King, but I knew it wasn't Lion. So he was the film director and all that for the Tiger King guy here in Texas, who got into another squabble with a lady who also had a lion safari, and he was blowing up the internet and all this with his filming and lions and tigers and all that crap, and she started reporting for abuse. Bad facilities and all that, and so he set out a murder for hire on her. Got busted on it. Yeah, got busted on it. Went to prison. Is still there. But then Chris, of course, left the guy and came to work for me. So he did all those YouTube. He got
pretty close to
more. Yeah. It was.
I was in with the lady that had hired an undercover FBI agent for $700. I said that should
have been your first.
That should have been first.
That should have been.
She got 4 years. Yeah. I don't know if it's because of her age. She was 60-some years old. The lady would never shower ever.
Ugh.
I mean, it was bad.
Really?
When the guards are coming to you to ask you to beg her to take a shower.
Yeah, tell her.
Yeah, I got her to do it, and I handed her a toothbrush when she was in there.
It
How
is
much time?
7:55.
This, for some reason, it says 6:01 here.
Oh, that screw you up. All right, so
We're pretty much good. This, like I said, this is what I'm going to be showing.
that right now is what.
to.
Yeah. So we're just waiting. And you have the ability to admit?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and let him in.
And red is live. Red is what
Red
they
is
see.
live. Oh, the top right.
Well,
Either
I
one.
was up here gonna have everybody.
Yep.
It won't really, I mean,
Yeah, put them up there, and then Brenda and I will talk here. Yeah.
You even got your little timer.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that Chris hated.
Yeah.
Chris hated that I talked so long because I had no schooling. And so he'd give me a content and I would just go on for 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 minutes. He says, you can't do this. I need minute and a half clips. I'm like, dude. So now can you hear me? Those are speakers.
So I just turned your audio on. So your audio video is on.
Okay. So we are live.
So you should both have. Anyway.
And you're watching for
I am.
So
Everybody who joins it now.
Ina won't be on, or she might. She's at the airport flying back from Los Angeles from the JT Fox mega event this weekend. But she did reach out and say that she might not be on.
For some reason, it turns off your video.
Well, that ain't cool. That ain't cool.
Oh, that's what he sees.
Yeah, that's the audience. Yeah.
Mhm.
Jay, how are you, my man?
You can hear us, right, Michelle? Okay.
There's Tate. He's driving. You're still
Okay,
muted,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the road to Florida this morning, so going to visit family.
Family? You got a property to rehab. You don't have time for family, buddy. How far is the drive?
I did half of it. I had to go to Atlanta yesterday to give my daughter some stuff, so now it's like 5.5 hours, and I got like 2 hours out of the way already.
Cool. How's our project coming along?
Pretty good. He painted the ceiling. He's done I would say they repaired the damaged floor, George, the major area down there. So now we're just waiting to I guess move on with the installation. He's gonna actually do the walls now and then do the floors last, so you don't have to worry about paint and all that stuff getting on the laminate flooring.
On the flooring. Good.
So
Good.
and then
Good.
I'm waiting on the inspection for the paint for the ceiling.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to get much out of the city this week, so he can get as much done this week, and then you can have them come in there next week, and we can knock that out and maybe wrap that thing up pretty quick.
No, Toby, we ordered an inspection within Trinity.
Trinity.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry.
and it got
I'm sorry.
accepted, so they should be reaching out to you today.
I was thinking you were
Okay.
talking about the city inspection.
No,
Oh,
we
no,
we're sending an inspector out.
Gotcha. Good.
And I was able to pull the permit and all that stuff. So it's just a matter of the city coming back out once we get all the little nuances taken care of. So that should not be a major hindrance.
Okay. Good deal,
Is that
buddy.
the new office?
This is the new office. This is the new studio. You guys are getting the inaugural launch. This will be the first webinar Zoom that we've ever done. In fact, Nick's been up here since about 3 this morning, making sure everything's all set up, rocking and rolling. But it's good. What do you guys think?
I like the decor on the walls.
Yeah. Good, because my wife was giving me crap about it. So I'm glad you said that, Tate. I'll send you an extra $50 for supporting me.
Toby,
Good.
office looks great.
Thanks, Rick. How are you, buddy?
Super. Hi, Brenda.
Hello, how are you?
Met you in KC.
Ah.
How's you still getting some cold weather up there, Rick?
It's going to be about 54 today, but winter
heat
starts
wave.
the end of this week.
Yeah. Good deal. Good morning, Henry. How are you, buddy?
Good, Toby. How you doing, sir? Good to see you.
Doing good. Hey, Henry's waving at you.
Oh, well, I can't see behind. Henry, how are you?
No.
What time is it? Everybody got a clock? 8:03. 8:03. All right. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Randy, you going to reach out to half a dozen people and see where our group is?
I'm on it. By the way, congratulations, Toby.
Thank you, sir. It was an amazing event. It was beautiful. Great group of people, great crowd. So it was awesome. And now I get to quit 2 of my 3 jobs because now I can start working toward retirement.
That's never going to happen.
You're right.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody. So hope everybody had an amazing weekend. As you may remember, we had a wedding last night. Rick had alluded to it. It was phenomenal. Posting some stuff. There was a little bit already posted, but it was a closing of a chapter that was long in the making, and you just don't realize how much God is involved, how much He is always in control, designing and developing, orchestrating, architecturally designing and engineering our lives.
Yes.
And last night you saw the end of the chapter, you saw all that he had done for the years, and I'm real excited. So I want to welcome our guest this morning, Brenda Ringwood. Oh my gosh, Ringwood. Brenda has been an amazing partner with me, with the Unshakable Self, with all that we're doing on the coaching, on the speaking, and the foundation of transformation of lives. We've always had this vision, we've had this passion, we never had the right leadership to guide, direct, and implement. We ran into you 7 months ago.
About that, May.
Yeah, 7 months ago. And the chemistry was amazing. The alignment was unbelievable. And
another God thing.
Another God thing, because it's as I've shared, this is always something I've wanted to do for years. And through the companies that I've owned, I was always through the employees, inspiring, guiding, coaching, directing, and hoping that they could become better, have better lives, financial security, and all that. But that's a small reach when you only have 20, 30, 40 employees.
But it was your practice.
That was my practice. Yeah. It was a 30-year practice run. But now we're reaching hundreds of thousands. And so I asked Brenda to be on the call today. Brenda has an amazing story. Brenda has a lot of the background that we have in financial. She had a ReMax franchise. You had a janitorial company.
Anything facilities, I had it.
Yeah. She was a serialpreneur and had grown and built many, many businesses, and got clouded by the world.
I did.
And the decisions we make will shape our life, but the life we want should shape our decisions. Brenda made some decisions that really wasn't what she realized they were going to be. And so I'm going to turn this over to you, to Brenda, because I want you to tell everybody a little bit about where you were building your companies and how the noise around you influenced you, how the consequences of that transformed your life.
Consequences.
So everybody, welcome Brenda Ringwood.
Well, thanks for having me. We talked about practice and everything that God does, and sometimes we don't see it when it's happening, or we don't see his hand in it then. But about 20 years ago, I was on a ReMax cruise, and I was listening to Bob Proctor. He was the speaker on the cruise. And I said, I'm going to do that one day. And my husband's like, oh boy, here we go. Because he knows that's usually when you start something.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Instead, I went a different way. But I have never had a job after high school, ever. I have been an entrepreneur. I've owned all of my own businesses, always had to go find the money. And we grew some successful things.
Right.
And it was either pay the IRS or invest in real estate. So we started investing in real estate, which led me to owning 5 ReMax brokerages, one of which was commercial.
Right.
So I was doing a lot with events there and with women's ministry. So I've been a believer for a minute, but I got involved with the wrong people. And, be careful what you pray for.
Yeah.
Because I was praying for something that I wanted, but I realized I already had it after the fact. So the career was not the way that I wanted to go, but my life was really good, but I wasn't happy. So I had the things, I had the family, I had the kids, I had all of that, I had a great childhood, all the toys, everything.
All materialism that the world can offer.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Had a house in the middle of 32 acres with another 88 acres. It was all there, right?
Yeah.
The boat, the RVs, the motorcycles, the cars, the employees. We had over 300 full-time employees. Wow. That's a lot for janitorial.
That's a lot.
But I was miserable in a company, in a life that I had built for myself, because I wasn't happy. And I wasn't happy at the time because I wasn't following God's will for my life. So I was trying to do it myself. And I was praying, you know what, God, I need an out. I need something to fulfill me. So instead of relying on God, I decided I was going to do it myself. And I got hooked up with the wrong people. Just like you tell your kids, don't hang out with them. I did that. And I was coming out of cancer.
Isn't that amazing though? To segue on that, we tell our kids they don't listen. We get frustrated, irritated, and agitated. They go through this pain, this realization, and they come back, and we welcome them.
Of course.
And God got just as upset, just as irritated, agitated, frustrated, waited for you to go through your path. And then when you realized and recognized, he welcomed you back in open arms.
He did. And he's not only welcomed me back, he has blessed me tremendously. And I realized I was seeking the world's acceptance instead of looking right where I was and seeing what I had right around me right then. So I came home one day and my husband pointed at my forehead. He said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm right here. What do you mean? Where am I at?" He said, "No, you're not.
You're somewhere.
You're somewhere else." And that got me thinking. And he begged me to not do a deal that I did. And I was at the brunt of some things that shouldn't have happened. Landed me in prison for 4 years.
4 years in prison.
But
now, wasn't it a 32-year sentence?
Oh, yes, I was looking at 30 years.
30 years.
30 years.
30 years in prison.
In prison.
How old were you?
I was 46.
Man, you would have been 76 coming out.
I probably would not have been married.
That he would have hung around that long. He's an awesome guy, but hey, girl.
That's a lot for anybody.
You gotta go.
I do have to preface this story because everybody always says, "Oh, he waited for you." Now, wait a minute. Why is it okay for the woman to wait for the man?
But not for the man to wait for the woman. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to preface it.
You do. But 30 years, he might have drawn the line.
I will tell you that I never thought I was going to do 30 years. But to my family, they didn't know.
Right. You don't know.
Don't know.
And you know that the sentence 30 years usually on good behavior out in half of that. So
on the feds,
not in the Fed. Yeah. But so you would figure at least 15 to 20 years for a full service sentence.
Yep. So I finally signed a plea, and I never had to go to the physical prison. But I was in a federal holding facility, which is high maximum security.
Right, it's everybody. Yeah. It's not the glamour that we saw with Bernie Madoff and all those guys. They're playing pool and playing cards.
No pool table.
Yeah. You were in federal high security, maximum security.
Yes.
With all the murder,
everything,
robbing
in the same room.
Even though you were white collar, you were thrown in with the blue collar.
Such a very small percentage. 95% is usually drugs or violent crimes. So I finally got a plea for 7 years, 6.5 years, 72 months. And during that time, so it's one thing to get saved in prison, right? But when you're saved going into prison, I've ruined my testimony.
Oh, yeah.
My story was anybody that I'd ever talked the gospel to. Yeah. It was bad. Yeah. And it took me a year. I was in prison. I was mad. I was angry. I was blaming everybody. It took me a year to get on my knees, repent, and finally accept my own actions, my own decisions, my own part of the story.
And that's a long year.
It was a long year. And I didn't know anything at that time. We were still fighting the case. Right. I didn't have a plea. I was still looking at that 30 years.
No resolution inside.
None.
You're mad at the world. You're behind. You're in a 4x6 cell with a bunch of crazy women.
Yeah, try living with 80 women. I mean, just that story alone.
Oh, I'm good.
I will tell you, though, I met a lot of really cool people. And I also met a lot of really bad people. And I met some that really shouldn't have been in there and met some that never needed to come out. And I never had ever dreamed
and there's that mix there. It's not just all bad.
No.
There's some that just got in bad situations, bad circumstances. There's some that created those situations, circumstances, and it's every level in between.
Absolutely. And I also had never really experienced racism until I went to prison.
Wow.
Or white privilege.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you don't know. Right. It was a rude awakening to see that part of life because it's there and people live that life every day. So finally, I signed a plea for the 72 months, and my case wasn't as good as what my prosecutor thought because he had to listen to my phone calls with my attorney. And the only remedy for that, they have to let you out. They don't pay you money. They don't get rid of the stigma. You're still a felon, but they had to let me out. And he violated my rights. But it happened 2 months after I got there.
And you didn't know about
We
it.
didn't know about it for 4 years. And as soon as we found out, it still took 8 months to get me out.
Even once I recognized and realized the violation, you
Yep.
still got to go through.
Had to go through the courts, wait
So
for the date.
you're behind bars, 4x6 cell, 80 women, dropped to your knees, surrendered, and then what happened?
Spent the next 3 years in peace. It was the weirdest thing.
So this was an internal release.
It's a battle. It was a battle.
So it's like Paul now in prison, didn't care, no big deal. It is what it is.
I started talking to women about Christ and just living my life that way. I wouldn't watch. So in prison where I was at, we had 3 TVs. You had to listen to them on headphones or read because you can't have the sound with everybody watching different TVs. I wouldn't watch anything secular or read anything secular until I did a Bible study. So every day, if I wanted to read a book or watch TV, I had to, or even the newspaper, I had to get into the Word, and I did that. And I had a radio.
And this was a discipline that you created.
It is. I made sure that if I was going to change, I had to do it every day. If I do it every day, knowing me, it was just going to start today, be gone tomorrow. Right. Every day I did this. Every day I prayed, I fasted, I repented on so many different levels. Those layers were being peeled back. God would reveal more and more and more of my sin. And I could see all of that leading up to where I was at. And I basically got put in a corner and made bad decisions. I got into business with somebody I shouldn't have. So that unequally yoked is not just for marriage.
No, it's life.
It's for life. That's
right.
It
is. Yes. And I'm glad you brought that up because 30 some years into the business world, everybody's always asked me, how come it's always only been you? No other CEOs, board of directors, partners. I've tried it.
Doesn't work.
And my family will attest. We've had several different partnerships. And if you're not equally yoked, if you don't have the same vision, passion, drive, aspirations, it doesn't work. And so I have so much aspiration for those who have partnerships that have great success.
Absolutely.
But I've heard more that I had a partner and they tried to steal from me. I had a partner that tried to sabotage it. I had a partner and they spun out and went a different direction. Once we hit a certain level of success, everybody kind of went their own way because they could do it better, faster, quicker, whatever. So they thought.
But you got the success because you were
right because you were partners.
Right.
Yes, right. So the unequally yoked isn't just marriage; it is every bit of every person in life.
Well, I needed to buy some real estate, and I was in a great banking relationship with our bank. Been there for years, and my banker said, I'm going to switch banks. Can you wait on this loan and go with me somewhere else? And I said, sure, but you got to talk to the seller. She's the one that's in a hurry to sell. He switched banks and we needed more money down. Their lending guidelines were different. So I didn't have it. I only had, I think we had to put down 600,000 or 700,000. I only had what I had. So I found a partner to do the rest, but I didn't know him. So one of my real estate agents had just did a transaction and he needed to flip that money. He had just sold a huge subdivision. So we partnered. And within the first year, I was paying 100% of the bills for a building. I only owned 50% of it, just like that. So you start getting frustrated and doing things. And when the notes and stuff came due again, he was nowhere to be found. So I had to sign to keep the building that my offices were in. He was nowhere to be found, even though he was still on the loan, he was still on the deed. Now it's my signature. And that's how things started.
That's how things went. Yeah. We've seen, and as a lender, we see so much fraud. As a hard money lender, even more so, because we're unregulated. There's no database of bad actors. And we problems that we shouldn't, but just because they just don't smell right, we're like, I don't know what's wrong. I can't find out what's wrong. I can't pinpoint it. It just doesn't feel right. So we're going to say no.
And see, looking back, that's why they say hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
He had cash, but he didn't have the revenue coming in. He didn't have the income, so
Cash flow.
he couldn't finance the building. I had the cash flow. I had the revenue coming in, and he had what I was missing. Now I could have went back to the other bank and just did it the way I was originally going to do it, but I didn't. And then I find out that those two guys are friends. And so is the lady that I was buying the building from, that he had financed that building for her 20 years ago.
Wow.
That was like the odd man out on that. And that's all I'm going to say there.
That's good. That's fine.
But so he's leaving, and it was our balloon note that had come due that I had to sign. And I had to put another 200,000 down just to be able to keep what we had. Again, of a building that only 50% of, I'm doing all of the money on it, that's fine. Lesson learned. And the big picture, money's just money.
It is.
It's just money.
It's just a tool.
It's just a tool.
I try to teach this more so than anything in life. When I'm coaching salespeople, it's the hardest transformation for them to recognize and realize that the money is a byproduct of who you can become.
That's right.
But everybody chases the money. I want to get into sales because it's unlimited. And I was that way. And when we lost all the money in the 2008 crash and I went to work, I would not take a salary job because I didn't want to be capped.
And you would have been.
Right. I know I'm worth $500,000 to $1 million a year. Don't give me $150,000 salary. And so
making them a $500,000.
Right. Yeah. Making them all the money. And so that was probably one of the things that I was very dogmatic about. But then when I'm teaching, coaching, and training, I tell people, you've got to forget about the money. Because the minute the money doesn't come, your world gets turned upside down.
That's right.
We have a lot of people that are in sales on the call, and I need them to understand and recognize money is only a byproduct of who you can become.
That's right.
One of the things that we're getting ready to launch is a sales course, and probably the foundation of it is how to become extremely successful and never recognize the value of the dollar bill. Because I've seen so many people, and most people who get into sales are dead broke. They're looking for a quick commission.
And they're also spending it before it even comes.
They're spending it before it comes, or they're cashing checks they don't have yet. And therefore now it is and it's where the scripture says that the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money.
That's right.
Is the root of it. It's the love of it, the aspiration, the drive, because it causes you to make bad decisions. It causes you to get desperate. It causes you to do things that you normally would not do because you're chasing that fame. You're chasing that materialism. You're chasing that title.
And it doesn't get you anywhere.
It will get you worse off.
It does. It does.
Yeah, we did it. Everybody heard my story. We chased the boats, the yachts, the Troy Aikmans and all that, and where are they at today? Not in my life. So
that's exactly how it works. It's exactly how it works. So if you remember, I said 20 years ago, met with Bob Proctor, wanted to do this, right? Yeah. So I'm in prison, and I'm thinking, how in the world did I get here? This is crazy. Because I'm Brenda Wood. This is not, this is not me. This is not this is not my life.
Right.
And I'm sitting there and I said, okay, 7 years. By the time I had signed that plea, I was already 3 years in.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a long 3 years.
3 years to not know. But I was still at peace because I was in the Word. Time was not really slow for me. God had really protected me. He kept my mind whole. In fact, I was at so much peace that my attorney thought maybe I had lost my mind because most girls
like no big deal.
Yep. And she had a psychiatrist come in and evaluate me. And she called my mom, and my mother said, I told you there's nothing wrong with her.
That's hilarious.
She did. And I did everything they asked me to do. So when we finally figured out what was going to happen, we had a come to Jesus meeting with my attorney, who is not a believer. And she said, your faith is beautiful. I've never seen somebody. I told her I was walking out of there. I was never going to end up in prison. I got to see my family every week because it was in the same town every week. That doesn't happen. And in feds, you get shipped out everywhere, and multiple times. You don't stay always at one place. So that's the Con Air thing. You're traveling in chains, and you have to go to the doctors in chains. And I was only 2 years out of cancer at the time, so I was still going to the doctors every 4 months. It was bad.
So you got some freedom, but because of all that, you were able to kind of get out.
I was, but I changed my mindset.
Yeah, right.
And that's where it came. And it wasn't even the getting out part. I needed to change. Yeah. I had gotten so hard that I didn't love people anymore. And that was tough because I had always wanted to help people. So to have that removed from me, it changed me. And I was starting to love people again, and the people that I was with. And I wanted to do missions. And my husband said, we're not doing that. We got 4 kids. We're not going to travel all over the 4 kids. But I got to do missions in prison. Right. Be careful what you preach. Right. So I'm on this highway, right? This fast-paced highway, and God's giving me exit after exit after exit to get off, and I don't. So he slams that prison cell down in the middle of the highway. Now I have a new testimony because he tells us that if he loves you, he's going to chasten you. He's going to discipline you. So through that, I understood that I really was his. I was his. And the chastening of the hand is real if you're his.
Right.
And that discipline, although it was hard and needed, was also beautiful. And when I got out, I said, I'm going to do things your way. And that's when we started becoming the better you, because I realized people were in prison that never went. Our doubts, our insecurities, what other people say, their opinions. You're in prison. You're in a mental prison. And that's what we're doing right now. So now I call myself From Felon to Fabulous, and we have a TV show about that, where we're sharing anything fabulous on whoever was a felon that has changed their life. So we've got correctional officers, my wardens on there, senators, anything that's teaching about corrections. And it's not the person who is in and out. These are people who have changed their lives through prison and then doing something with it. And it is. And so I speak all over now. So the whole Bob Proctor thing is coming to fruition. Could this have happened
20 years later?
Because I didn't listen. I was doing it my way instead of God's way. And when you're doing it your way,
it ain't going to happen.
No. At the level.
Well,
so there's this thing on social media. So there's this small plane pulling up, and it's a big plane, but it's pulling up and it says my way, my plan. And then comes the ones that go overseas, this huge plane soaring by that says God's plan. And I needed to do that. So I was able to take all those churched years, those educated years at church. So I knew scripture, and I would listen to songs on the radio, and I would say that's scripture. So you're listening to music and reading the Bible in a whole different way.
You're seeing it through different eyes.
Yes. And when you see that and you experience the love that I felt in that jail cell, it's powerful.
Oh,
I can't even begin to tell you. And if people would give God that chance to share that love, you will change. And when he says he changes lives, he changes lives. But you have to commit. You have to surrender.
Well, and I think that's the one thing that people fall short on, is that he's not going to ever force anything upon us. He'll never force us to love him, follow him, worship him. But the minute we do, he just opens up the floodgates.
Yes.
But you have to commit first.
You do. You do.
As a parent, we try to guide, direct, mentor, and share, but every now and then, as a child becomes a teenager, young adult, they try to cut their own path. They kind of move out, move away, do things their own way. And I love the analogy that, as a young child, parents are mean, always telling us what to do. And then as a teenager, parents don't have a clue. They have no knowledge. Mm-hmm. But then as a young adult, holy shit, mom and dad did have a clue.
Mm-hmm. And they're back.
Yeah. And I think we as adults, now they're back, wanting, can I not be a kid again? But I think we as adults that really have that foundation of Christ within us have done that same thing. We worshiped at a young age. I was saved at the age of 10, and I didn't know anything different. But as I became a young adult, I wanted to do things my way, and was okay knowing and living and pronouncing my faith to Christ, but I wasn't living for him. I was living
And there's
for
a
me.
difference.
There's
That's
a
right.
huge difference. And that's where I think people don't say, well, yeah, I'm a Christian. Saying you're religious doesn't make you.
I religiously wash the dishes.
That's right. Religiously take a shower.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think once our society removes religion from faith,
it's relationship.
It's a relationship. It's spiritual. And that's where I was talking to one of my nephews last night about our trip in Africa. And I said, in Africa, he said, what is the religion there? And I said, well, it's not really religion. It is true faith. The Christian communities are faith driven, not religious.
That's right.
They are devout. They are dedicated.
They worship better than we do.
I'm telling you, from 8 in the morning till 8 at night.
Yeah.
I mean, we
And they're not saying the pastor's running long.
Yeah, we got Cowboys are coming up in 10 minutes. I gotta go. I mean, they go from morning to night. And I was sharing that with him. And he said, well, we as Americans are spoiled. I said, oh yeah. I've seen multiple pastors be removed from churches because they preached too long.
And that's sad.
It's embarrassing.
The music and the announcements is longer than the service.
Yes. Yeah. Hour of worship, announcements, and the pastor gets 25 minutes, which is why we're all there. I mean, we're there to worship.
You can listen to music by not going to church.
That's right.
And you can hear the word by not going to church, but we're called to fellowship with other believers. And that's why we're called to go to church. And you need to be shepherded. You have to have that leader. Yes. Yeah.
So Become the Better You is your foundation. How long has that been out and about?
About 5 years.
5 years now.
It started during COVID.
Yeah. Which is the worst time to start any kind of public speaking.
It was great for me because I knew what I wanted to do, but I was still holding back. I was holding back. I was afraid. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. That stuff is horrible. What it plays on your mindset. So now I've come out of prison and I literally had nothing because we had a house fire. So when I say I had the clothes on my back, that's all I had. Everything burned down. I remember going to Walmart. I didn't even know what size I was because I had.
You've been wearing prison
oranges, yes. Small, medium, extra large, 2X, 5X, whatever they had. Sometimes you're wearing a pair of pants with the ponytail holder. That's whatever they had is what you got.
Hilarious.
Yes.
So, no real fashion statements in prison.
No, they thought there was though. So that I got stripped of everything vain, my contacts, and I have Coke bottle glasses. My eyeballs are this big in my glasses. No hair dryer, no curling iron, no makeup, nothing. I mean, you're literally washing your hair and brushing it out. They would have barbershop occasionally that you could go to, but if you had court, they'd let you borrow the blow dryer to go to court. Outside of that, that was it. And the whole experience of being, I mean, I literally had everything ripped out. But then when I got out, my family, I was just thinking, I thought I had to make up time with them. And my mother said, stop it. You can't make up lost time. What you can do is start rebuilding the relationships. And I never had a missed visit. They always came. And to this day, I can tell you, I have a key to all my children's homes. I can go pick up my grandbabies whenever I want. My relationships with them got stronger. My relationships with my husband, with my parents, with my cousins got stronger. And the ones that didn't, I didn't need them in my life anyways. But the one thing I made a point to do, I said, if you're going to get on stages, you need to go back and you need to talk to did wrong, who they think might have wronged you, even if you didn't believe so, or anybody else on the list that could have been wrong. And I did that. Some people would not talk to me. That door is still open if you want to come.
Yeah.
Some people said, okay, and we squashed it. Yep. Yeah. And some people we picked right back up where we left off.
And those are the true people.
That's right.
So you've shared a story about your dad, a background of who your dad was.
My dad.
Military?
Yes.
Colonel,
Green
military,
Beret.
Green Beret.
Decorated Special Forces. Yes.
So you come out of prison. Hey, Dad, I'm going to get on stage and tell my story. And he's like, the hell you are.
That's exactly what happened. He said, I don't think so. So I went to the church that I had started attending their church before I went in, and then I just kind of disappeared, right? So our pastor's 78 now. So he's my dad's age. And I said, I'm going to go talk to the pastor because I'm sure he wants to know where I've been. And he's not a big internet guy or anything like that. And my dad said, well, I'm going with you. And I said, well, I think I'm okay to talk to the man about myself. And he says, why do you need to talk to him? And he didn't want me sharing that story. And so when I told him the story, he said, oh, well, will you share with our senior citizens group or luncheon? I said, sure. My dad, we got home, he said, are you sure? Because this is now telling a piece of his story.
Right.
And I said, Dad, this is something I have to do. And I shared that story. What I didn't realize is the percent senior citizens. But afterwards, it was the best thing that could have happened because my dad gave me the biggest hug. He says, you did an amazing job. And he says, I've forgiven you for everything that's happened. And now he's my biggest fan.
Right.
He watches all my stuff. We actually live with my parents. And people say, well, it's not about the money living there. My parents are older and I'm an only child. And because we had the house fire, Dennis had moved with them until
during that time.
Yeah, because we didn't know where we were going to go. So
Right.
if I had to go to a actual prison, I was going to end up probably in Texas because of my medical. And he was just going to get a fifth wheel and go down and why buy a house, right? So my dad set us down. He says, I know you're probably looking to get a place. He said, but we'll have to sell this if you don't live here. My husband takes care of all of it. And parents are in very good health, but they're not. If that makes any sense. My mom had a stroke 11 years ago, has high blood pressure issues and things that she needs help with. Although she still gets on the chair and climbs to the top of the counter to get stuff out. She travels with me anywhere we need her to go.
Yeah.
My dad's a diabetic. He's had 3 knee replacements in one knee. They just never worked. He's had both his shoulders done. He's got a screw and a plate in his ankle. And he gets dizzy, so he can't get up on that tractor and stuff. He can, but we don't let him.
Right.
And he said, I'll have to sell this, and this is your home. I'm an only child. And my kids were like, Mom, we don't want them to have to sell. Why wouldn't you stay there? So that's why we're there. We'll probably build a little something out there, but if I wasn't able to do that, and this is God again, I don't have a mortgage payment. I don't have everything. We split bills. I wouldn't be able to travel and do the things, especially then. I can't now because we built a great company.
Built it up.
But then I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
It was perfect. But because it was COVID, I was sharing my story virtually. I was getting on stage after stage after stage, sharing the story and meeting some amazing people. But right before COVID, I had attended an event with Dr. Reuben West, and he helped me get my confidence back. See, your family, they didn't want me to speak because it wasn't that they didn't feel, my husband didn't even care that the story was out there. He didn't want me to get hurt.
Yeah.
So it was more of a protection.
Right.
But then he also realized that that's not the woman he married. So
there's a lot of haters out there.
There is.
There's a lot of haters.
Yep. Which is why I didn't want to be a hypocrite and went back to everybody and talked to them. Could I give them back money? Could I give them back the life employees got, when I went to prison, everybody lost their job. It was a big, some of them didn't get their last paychecks because the feds came in, they take everything. There's nothing. They freeze everything. There's nothing. And there's a lot of people that got hurt. And I can't change that. But I did go to them, those that would want to talk to me and tried to at least have the conversation. And it was tough. And I was shocked at the amount of people who did not hate me. You think it's the whole world. It was really just the small.
I think that's where we get in our own way. We create more problems in our head than is in reality. Well, real quick, I wanted to open it up. If anybody has any questions, ask Miss Brenda anything. Just pop your hand up or unmute yourself and fire away. Rick, what you got, buddy?
Just give me 2 seconds. I got to get rid of this phone call.
Okay.
20 minutes, 30 minutes. Can you call me back in 20, 30 minutes? Just in a meeting. Thank you. I've been waiting all weekend for that damn call. Okay, Brenda, you mentioned Bob Proctor.
Yes.
Did you know he was Canadian?
I did know that.
Did you know he grew up around downtown Toronto and King Street?
That part I did not know.
About 5 blocks away from me where I grew up. I knew the man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
I bought all of his books, listened to all of his stuff.
Yeah.
Set on probably 5 or 6 sessions on that cruise ship.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful man.
Who else?
Hey, she mentioned, Brenda, you mentioned that your rights were violated. I kind of got lost in that translation. Can you expand upon that as to why?
Absolutely. I actually had several rights violated. My first right that I was there's client attorney confidentiality. So you are not allowed to record client attorney phone calls because you are supposed to be honest with your attorney. You're supposed to talk to them. You can tell them anything. And that stays between the two of you. So by listening to those phone calls, he violated my rights.
This was the prosecutor.
This is the prosecutor trying to better his case. Yeah. And how we knew that is I was actually in court and he said the exact words that I had said on the phone to my attorney.
How did he know that?
Exactly. Yeah. And so when we started investigating, this office was at the Kansas City, Kansas federal courts. Prosecutor's office was already violating other people's rights. It was called the Black case, if anybody wants to look it up, where they were listening to attorneys' recordings. They were actually watching and hearing in the rooms. Yes, on the phones, and that's information. Yeah. And they also didn't let me vote. And people said, well, you're not supposed to vote when you're in prison. That's not true, because I had not signed a plea yet, and I had not been found guilty. So you're innocent until proven guilty, and I should have been able to vote by absentee ballot. So I sued when I got out, not for money, and now you can all the federal holding facilities across the country if you're just a detainee. I was not technically an inmate.
Felt like one.
And the ACLU, not ACLU, yeah, ACLU picked it up. Huh. My attorney called and she says, you won't believe this. The ACLU is picking this up. But do you see God's hand? Yeah. In all of this? Yes.
So there's several confirmation things that, as you guys were talking, this just got confirmed to me. And I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. It's very impactful. Continue, by all means, continue to share your story. It is wonderful to hear. Thank you.
And I will tell you, there was a time where I wanted to speak, but I wasn't going to speak about that. And my very first event I was back when I was doing this, I didn't know about sizzle reels. Before prison, we didn't do that. We didn't have the internet and all the social media. Like when we had it, but not at the level we do it now. So I was going to have my own event so I could have my own footage. And as I was walking up the steps to that, I looked at the person that was playing our stuff and I said, don't play that PowerPoint. Really? And I shared my story. That was nothing but God saying, I told you. And I did.
That's remarkable. Remarkable. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Sure, please.
Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, thank you for sharing your testimony, Brenda. But I'm just curious to know, what is your life's Bible verse when you were in those times?
So it's Revelation 20:15. For anyone's name who is not written in the book of life will be cast into the lake of fire, because we are commissioned to share the word of God. And I had always wanted to do that. I had been doing that. So for me, I needed to abide by that and make sure people understood what having their name in the book of life meant.
Wow, thank you. It reminded me when you were doing the conversation with Dr. Toby, it reminded me of the story between Paul and Silas from Acts 16:25-26. So it was like they were imprisoned for several years, or probably, and they had been suffering as well in the prison. And then what they did was they kept on praising and worshiping God, and then something miraculous happened. That's why they get out of it. And your life testimonies is somewhat almost like that you have been in the most challenging times of your life for many years, but now look at you sharing your story, sharing the greatness of God to everyone. Thank you.
Absolutely. The only difference between me and Paul is he got thrown into prison for preaching the word of God.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him his credit.
Yeah, yeah. He
But
was,
yes,
and
he
he
was-
never stopped.
He never stopped.
You know, that I think that if we all could take the wisdom from Les Brown that says, what other people think of you is none of your business. And we get so caught up about what is this person going to think? What is this person going to say? And of course, with social media, I get, and we post every day, and there's always somebody who has an amazing slap in the face comment. And then I go to their profile and they have like 4 followers and no posts. I'm like, really, dude?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, they're not worth your time.
You got to be kidding me. Thanks for the bump, because every time somebody comments or they bumps it back. So I say, hey, thank you for the banter. Thank you for the bump. You just put me back to the top, and now another 10,000 people will see us. But you need to get a life.
They do. They scroll for that stuff.
They scroll.
But here's the thing that people don't understand. I said that they had listened to my phone calls 2 months in. It wasn't revealed because I wasn't ready. God had not yet.
Yeah, you could have been out 6 months or a year.
Went back. I would see,
and you would have fallen right back into the same.
The business would have still been there. All of these things. So God removed all of the distractions, and that's what we're doing.
We can go to almost every chapter of the Bible. It doesn't matter what prominent individual within the Bible you want to read. They all went through that same transformation. Look at Moses,
Some of it is overnight, but it's the years of the discipleship that get you to the faith. You can make the decision overnight, but you still doesn't mean you're going to know the Bible.
No. And then you have to go through the grooming, the sculpturing, and all that.
The application.
Yes.
You have to apply it.
It is, it says that one day in God's eyes may be 1,000 years in our world. And so probably the biggest fight that we have as humans is the timing of God is just never in our.
I never question it anymore.
Yeah.
And I will tell you,
I know.
The girls that
Trust me, I know.
We're working on that. The girls that I was in there with, there was 3 other ladies who I was able to discipleship. They all got out in 4 years too. One of them was looking at 12 years. One was looking at 8. One was looking at 6. We all got out in 4 years. Now we didn't get out at the same time because we came in at different times.
Right.
But I was able to go back in and visit one of the girls.
That's what she said.
And she says, I've been waiting for you to come, but I couldn't go in. You had to be out a year.
Yeah.
And she said, I got saved after you left. So, and that, she could have wrote me, right? That I see it. And she's doing amazing. And she got out like 6 months later.
Abby, what you got, sweetheart?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I can't come to the phone because here you get a ticket.
Oh, really?
And I don't want no ticket right now.
That's right.
Pleasure to see you. It's a story that I've not exactly had before, but because I am part of my church prison ministry, it's like I'm hearing a lot of these stories, and I see this. It's a story of redemption. So I thank God for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know why.
I give Christ that credit.
Yes. Now I know why Toby wanted me to connect with you, because I was like, okay, I called her, but she seems not to understand what I'm trying to tell her. So now I understand fully why he wanted that connection, because he knows that my calling is to actually help individuals that's coming out of the prisons, out of the justice system, out of the foster care. That's what my foundation is about. And I know that you told me to send you some information, but I couldn't make the connection then, because I didn't think you understood what my whole story was about and why I wanted to do what I'm trying to do. So I will be reigniting that connection now. But my question for you is, for someone that's that's in the middle, in the steps, in the process of getting this calling in place, that's housing this individual. I have to get all the NERL licensing and stuff in place. I'm in the process of putting all the paperwork together, but I need the house. So, but you would say, get the house, filling it up, it won't be an issue. I have two churches here, my mother church and my we call them little church. It's all like father and son. That's very, very strong into the prison ministry. And I see the need each time that we go to like minister. And what would you advise somebody that's going to be in that position? What would you advise as a Christian and as a business owner?
So are you referring to the business owner or the person coming out of prison?
What would you how would you advise them on how to handle situation? Even though I'm getting all of the education and all of the coaching for people that's already doing it, but as someone that's been in that situation, like when you came out, what are the things that you need to put in place for them to know that they are loved, they are accepted, and just now it's time for you to turn things around?
The best thing you can do for them to help them is, yes, they're going to need some things, but the best thing that you can do is to be consistent with them and to make sure they do that themselves. You cannot do it for them. If you do it for them, the minute you step out, they won't know what to do and they'll end up right back in. But if you can help them to understand what it is that they need to do through the steps, but make them do the steps, now they're learning. But they might need some deodorant, some toothpaste, some clothes. That stuff, yes, you can help them with. But they have to go get the job. They have to show up for the job. They have to do the job. Otherwise, there's just going to be a revolving door. But those are the things that you can do, is just basically encourage.
Yeah, one of the plan is to outsource financial literacy, and I have social workers and case managers that's ready to help make sure they have locations in place. If they don't have one, get one so they can get established. And the goal is to make sure that they are able to have their own apartment or even purchase their own house before they leave the house. So it would be two in a room for accountability purposes so that they can relate to one another as to what happened, what do we need to do now, what are we doing next, what do I need to do to be able to go get somebody else so we can get them reestablished when I'm established. That's
There's
the goal.
also a fine line there. So you also have to remember, and I lived with these folks for a long time, a lot of them are still going to come out unchanged and go right back into the old ways, and they will use you for everything that you're giving them. And the minute that you don't give them, they will walk away.
Yeah.
So you have to have discernment on who you're going to help. And I would only put my time and my money and anything that I have into those who truly want to change. If they don't want to change, then you're wasting your time. Resources you could use for somebody that really does.
Right.
Definitely. That would be a questionnaire that will make them fit or not. So that's already, I've already been saying some of these people will really be ready to change, some will not. So
right.
I have an idea.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here.
No, you're welcome.
All right. Anybody else real quick? We got 1 or 2 more minutes and then we got to rally. All right. Thank you guys. Brenda, thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me.
As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you in our lives.
I just like to see you in person.
It's fun. Next week we'll have Dennis on.
Oh, good luck with that one.
The husband behind the scene. We'll prep. We'll find out. Dennis, for 4 years, what did you do? But no, thank you guys, everybody. It is so profound and it's so remarkable to see how this is evolving, seeing how this is growing and the lives that we're impacting. And so, as we shared last week, we all have a purpose in life. We all have a calling in life. We all have a destiny. And it's up to you to make those choices, make those decisions, and make those commitments. So as we go into Thanksgiving weekend, every person needs to take 5 minutes and just reflect. And your life may not be exactly where you want it to be or how you thought it should be. And that's okay. but more importantly, take the time to reflect on all the greatness that you have, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people that didn't wake up this morning. There's a lot of people that aren't given a continuation. You were chosen to continue. You were chosen to create, establish, and endure God's kingdom. So if you understand this, you recognize it, and you accept it, this is the week to be very, very, very thankful for all that you have and all that you can achieve and all that you can become. So I thank each and every one of you. Have a blessed week. Be safe. There are some crazies out there, so be safe and continue to power on. You guys have a great, great week, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you. See y'all.